Hello, this is Satish Reddy, Department of English, MBS Degree College, Mahbub Nagar. And today's topic is review writing. And before that, let us try to understand what is a review. A review is a critical assessment of a book, a film, a product, or service. And it gives the readers a quick idea about the book, film, and that also conveys the receiver's opinion or the reviewer's opinion about it. And we judge so many things in our day-to-day life, whether it is service, a product, a book, a film, whatever it is, but we always try to assess it based on our experience. And because it helps the readers when it comes to books to make up their mind. And there is no standard formula, but at the same time to write about the reviews. But there are certain important and significant elements of a well-written review. Reviews should follow facts first, interpretation last principle. In other words, reviews should inform, describe, analyze, and evaluate. These are the basic principles. This is the order. And reviewers need not shy away from making judgments. And whatever we experience, we tend to judge them. And perhaps this is very important for us in our day-to-day life too. Then, like when you buy a toothpaste, when you buy something, when you buy a particular product, and you, after using it for some time, and your tendency is to judge it. And based on your judgment, based on your reviews, and other customers or other people may have an option whether to choose it or not. And based on your reviews, maybe other people would take decisions on your judgment to buy it or not. And in fact, we should not take a stance in a review and make our criterion known, so that these who disagree with our assessment understand the basis of our judgment. The only requirement, however, is that in a review, our opinion or judgment should be supported by reasons and evidence. And if there is no evidence, we shouldn't come to a conclusion on any product or any service. And that should be beyond doubt. So here, it is a review is a useful exercise, and to hone several skills: reading, watching, comprehension, analysis, communication, and critical thinking. In this video, we are going to learn how to write film and book reviews, and the vocabulary that is useful, to write them. And as we discussed, a review is an assessment of a book, a product, or a service. Then based on your reviews, people will make their own choices. So it has its own important, and it plays an important role in our consumer society. So let us try to understand what exactly a review and what's all about this. So first of all, what is writing? Writing is an activity to produce or draw graphic symbols which represent a language. That is said by Tharigon. Writing is a process of expressing ideas, information, knowledge, or experience, said by White. And before talking about reviews in detail, let's have an understanding of types of writing. Descriptive, and you can write about a person, about a place, or nature. It could be anything. Expository, and it's about a problem and solution, and you can compare, and you can also explore the cause, and you can also tell about effect. And narrative writing, real unreal mix of both. So you can narrate something, whether it is real or unreal, fictitious, or whatever it is. And persuasive, and if you want to convey something, and if you want to influence other people, and if you want to change the opinion of other people, this is persuasive writing. So you are conveying your opinion, and you are trying to change the opinion of other people, by trying to say something in a convincing manner. Then what exactly, let us understand the review. To examine or study again, to give a critical evaluation. That's what Merriam-Webster uh, dictionary describes the review, the word review. The writing of reviews for newspapers, journals, etc., as an occupation or profession. Then now, what's the purpose of reviews? And here, as we discussed, it is very important, it is very significant thing. The purpose of review is very important, because it helps the viewers, buyers, to decide whether to watch the movie or buy the product or go in for a particular service. To give a feedback to the filmmaker, manufacturer, and to know it is not only for the customers, but at the same time for producers, for manufacturers too. And this review helps a lot, because it gives them feedback, and it gives them a lot of inputs. Manufacturers to know and understanding how the viewers of the film, buyers of the product, respond to film and product. So how customers, how people responded to a particular product, a film, a book. So it helps them, or it gives them the feedback or the response of the product users or end users. And it also in terms of finance, and in terms of gaining, in terms of making profits, and this also helps them to market the film product or extensively. So let's briefly, and before doing it in detail, let's briefly look at this film review. This paragraph 1, we should have bullet points, like the important, the significant points. And in that title, with an attractive anecdote, that title should attract the readers. Genre, an action, suspense, biopic, horror, or sci-fi, western. It could be anything. So the theme in this, coming of age, love, justice, poverty, vengeance, and the director, cast, the release date, length, of the movie, production house, etc. Then paragraph 2, that should discuss the plot and the characterization, the various characters of that film, and the setting, the context in which it was done, and the technical aspects, and the role of direction, the part of direction, and cinematography, choreography, and background score, etc. Then in the third part, evaluation and critical analysis. Here, plot, characters, acting, music, photography, and other things. Then paragraph 4, it is a concluding part. That's punchline, dialogue from the movie, and tell what you have told. Uh, uh, Whether you would or wouldn't recommend the film, or star rating, whether you recommend the people to watch it or not, and rating, of course. Then film review. What makes a good film review? What are the components? What are the things that that make a good film review? Narration of outline, then balance, and of course you can add certain other things. Answer why, and no passing comments like fine, good, bad, or something like that. Extensive knowledge, jargon, compare, and contrast. So wide range of adjectives. Here, check your grammar, be consistent, but we need to be very careful while using adjectives. Then, coming to product review, written on shopping sites, and most of the time, these days people are buying online. So the certain reviews on certain products, particularly when it comes to buying online, they would be of great help, for the customers. And written on shopping sites gives an opportunity to rate and comment on the products. Other consumers can read and decide whether to buy product or not. So your review, your rating will help other people to decide whether to buy a product or not. And nowadays, more than 88% of online buyers, customers, relying on product reviews. Then effective product review. There are, particularly 4 key elements. The first thing is title. That has to get immediate attention. It should be very catchy. It should be very attractive. That should draw the attention of the, readers or customers. Then draws the readers in. If it is catchy, if it is very interesting, then obviously that is going to draw the attention of the reader. It's not, reviewer should not confine himself or herself just to something that like mentioning the product name or model number. That should be, something more than that or beyond that. Your review will be listed, published on the page or similar pages. An example, like the 3 things you didn't know about. Don't buy until you read this, Then, the second thing is intro, the introduction. I should summarize the entire review. That introductory part itself, that should summarize the entire review. Should get the reader's attention, because just by looking at that intro, the reader or the customer, people should be able to understand the summary, the gist of that. So examples, you can start like this, I was looking for a flashy, a tiny, I found this kind of. So it can be started like this. Then the body, meat of the review, this is important, the gist, the essence, and should give the reader enough information. And this part should provide sufficient information to the reader. That includes product specification, benefits, negatives, comparison, pricing, alternatives, if any any other aspects of the product. Of course, this can also include pictures and tables, etc. And to support your arguments, you can give give links to your arguments. Then the fourth, in these the key elements, the fourth one, recapping. Tell what you have told, and you just try to briefly tell the readers what you have told so far, and emphasize the positives and negatives, and both aspects should be emphasized, should be highlighted. Conclude with a take a home message, so that you can conclude with an important message. And here are certain tips that don't fake your review, and you should go through the details of the product, and you should understand it before writing any review, and get your hands on the product. Be honest and trustworthy and practical. Don't add others' opinions or other impressions. And give star rating. Use the language according to the product and its users. So if you use language which is beyond comprehension of readers or customers, then that would be of no use. So far we have seen writing skill, kinds of writing reviews and film reviews, and let us try to discuss the steps involved in this. So we discussed writing, what is review, the steps involved in the review of a product, film, or anything, or any service. Then now let us try to discuss and try to have the steps, try to understand the steps involved in the writing process of a film. So the writing process. So step one. Here, step one is understanding the genre to which the film belongs. So here, knowing the features of genre, that helps us assess the success or failure of the film according to the criteria relevant to the genre. And for example, we cannot find fault with a fantasy film for not being realistic, as it is being a fantasy film, you cannot expect it realistic. So nor can we complain about sentimentality in a melodrama. So the first part is understand the genre. This is the first step. Then step two, is understanding the purpose of review. The purpose of review. So purpose of review. Here, it is not, the film review. It's not just merely a narration of the story or the plot of that film. It just, and it is not even an entirely an expression of the reviewer's own opinions. The primary purpose of a film review is to help the reader, to arrive, a fairly accurate estimate of the film's nature and its quality and, suitability. So good film review, that is going to strike a balance between information, inference, and interpretation. That is the second step. Here, third step, step 3. Step 3 is understanding the structure of a film review. Of course, the reviewer's tendency is to bring their own characters to the review, to the reviews they write. But most, film reviews follow a fairly well-defined structure. So understand the structure. This is step 3. And step 4, is understand the target reader. Who are you writing for? Then if you do not know who we are writing, who you are writing for, then who is going to and who is likely to read the review, that helps us, to choose the appropriate style and vocabulary. And if you know the target readers, and if you know the readers who are going to read your reviews, then that helps us use appropriate style and, vocabulary. So understanding the target reader. This is step 4. And we have step 5. So here, understanding the medium. So, but, usually all these film reviews are generally associated with the print media, newspapers or magazines. They have now spread to the electronic media and the cyberspace and social media too. And of course, each medium has its own style and requirements. Therefore, we have to customize our writing according to the medium. So depending on the medium, we need to customize. What is workable in a particular medium, in one medium, may not be workable in another medium. So we need to understand that first. So accordingly, we can customize it. So these are the steps that are involved in the writing process of a film. Then the structure of a film review. The structure of So here, the structure of a film review. But see, that there is no fixed format of a film review. But but still we have the following one: title or headline. So first is the title or headline. So the title of the review, it should be very short, very interesting, very catchy, and because it suggests the reviewer's assessment of the film. For example, the tube light fails to light up. So it's very catchy, very interesting. So the title should always be very catchy, very interesting, and that should, suggest the reviewer's assessment of the film. Then the second thing is subheading or deck. Subhead. Subhead or deck. So in this is nothing but a summary line, that highlights the most interesting and noteworthy feature of the film. And usually the subhead is written below the headline and above the body of the review, and is typographically distinct from the rest of the review. Then the next part is intro or introduction. So in this introductory part, the first paragraph, it is also known as lead paragraph or the lead. That is the most, crucial one, very significant one. And because it sets the tone for the rest of review and makes the reader want to read further. And it takes them, into the details of that review. And it gives the readers and it gives the reader an overview of the film, and also conveys the reviewer's overall assessment of the film. And the overview may also include background information about the film, its context, and the criteria used for evaluation. Then analysis. So in this analysis, now the second paragraph should give the outline of the story. And the next paragraphs make an evaluation of the film in detail. The assessment of the plot, comments on the lead role and other important characters, screenplay, music, lyrics, dialogue, scenery, cinematography, so on and so forth. Reviewers may also cite specific examples in support of their assessment. the fine and seen, melodious song, a lewd dialogue, etc. So analysis covers all these aspects. Then conclusion. So here in this part, it consists of two parts: a summary of the reviewer's assessment and their advisory, whether it should be watched, whether it is a watchable or it should be ignored or a must watch. All these things are included in this. So like keeping all these in mind, one can easily write film reviews or book reviews, whatever products or services. So I wish you all the best.